Hey there folks, Mighty Plantain here, and we're going to do something a little bit different this time around. We're going to do a little bit of work with pyro. So one thing you're definitely not going to see in this video is any beer or other alcohol, because we all know that those two things do not mix. It's a very bad idea. You wouldn't wave around a loaded gun while you've had a few drinks, so let's not play with fireworks or anything like that while you've had a few either. Alright, so Saturn missile batteries are actually pretty cool, and this one here, it's got about 500 shots in it, well, 500 exactly according to the manufacturer. These guys are pretty fun. Not a really spectacular effect, but they whistle, they explode, they trail sparks. Pretty cool. So let's take a look at one of these in action. So that was fast, that was furious, that was noisy, and it was a bit exciting, but ultimately it was too fast. It was too furious, it was over too quickly, and it was very predictable, which ultimately, in my opinion, makes it a bit boring. So we're going to see what we can do about punching that up and doing better. And here's how we're going to do that. So like I said, I think we can make that a little more interesting. So let's start out here. I've got the box. So, not very interesting yet, but we're going to do a little something with this box, and looks like you can take this back to the place it came from for a 75-cent deposit. I guess I'm leaving some quarters on the wife's nightstand because she's not getting that deposit back when I'm done with this. So, to this box, to make it awesome, we're going to add 5 of these 100-shot Saturn missile batteries. So that's going to give us the same number of shots. They keep coming. We're also going to put some ground effects in here. Got a strand of 1,000 firecrackers. And a few of these little guys. Now, I've only seen these made by Black Cat, little ground mines. They split. It's a very loud effect and some glittering and crackling afterwards. So they're actually pretty cool. For the price, you can't really go wrong with these. They're pretty awesome. So we're going to string those together. A little bit of regular fuse. And these amazing little zip ties, they work wonders for stringing things together. You actually double them up on each one of your connections, and it provides a pretty solid link between the two fuses. It's not coming apart, and it's very quick and easy to set up as well. So this is what I was talking about when I was talking about putting these fuses together. We've got these little ones coming off of the box. I'm just going to take my zip tie and this piece of fuse from the package of fuse. It does take a little bit of coordination. Sometimes it's easier said than done. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and double that up just to make sure we've got a really solid connection between the two fuses. We don't have any problems with it going off. Double check it to make sure it's tight, and these zip ties shouldn't slide up or down. So then we're just going to go ahead and cut off the extra. And you're ready to bring it over to the next device in your list. This fuse burns at about 2.75 seconds per inch. So it's a somewhat slow burning fuse, so I'm going to try and shorten up these connections in between. I'm not going to make you sit through me stringing this whole thing together. I'm going to skip to the end here. Alright, so this is the completed product. A couple of things you may have noticed. One, this roll of firecrackers was not actually incorporated into it. That's okay, because the box wasn't quite large enough to accommodate the amount of awesome I was going to try and stuff into it. Giggity. So I did leave myself a significantly long enough piece of fuse that I can string this along the outside around the box and still incorporate it into the same time fuse. The other thing you can see is this duct tape along the edges. You cannot see that there is duct tape underneath these as well, securing them down. If you have access to a caulking adhesive or something similar and sufficient enough time to allow it to dry, which I don't for this project, I would definitely recommend that as an alternative. But the most important thing, duct tape, adhesive, just something to secure these, because these little ground mines actually put off a surprising amount of concussive force, and the last thing you want is for one of these to get knocked sideways up against the edge of the box, because then you're going to have a whole bunch of people diving for cover, and that's never good. So when we come to time to shoot this off, like I said, I'm going to incorporate this, drape it around the outside of the box, and we'll take a look at how that comes out. So that was a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more exciting, a lot of flash, a lot of bang. I prefer it. And honestly, it didn't cost much more than the 500 shot battery, except for the strawberry box. And she's definitely not getting the deposit back on that sucker. It was a pile of ash by the time it was done. And a couple of the Saturn rocket batteries kind of set it on fire, and it burned right down. That's why you should always have a bucket of water ready when you're putting on a fireworks show, folks, so don't forget that. So next time we'll try and string together some other stuff, or maybe I'll just post some video of me blowing some awesome shit up. Until then, have fun. Be safe.